lots of money. And about 20 years later, they told him, oh, we found out who killed the Democratic chair, so come on back in home. He says, there's too much money here. So he is the only governor from Kentucky buried here at Crown Hill Cemetery. The rest of them are our Hoosier-grown Hoosiers governors. We have approximately 14 governors. I take it back, 11 governors buried here, 11. We have 14 mayors here, 16 generals in the Civil War here, 191,000 people buried here. And believe it or not, the space that we have for a grave is 8 feet long, 3.2 feet wide, 5.6 deep. However, also we have a concrete box where we put a casket in. The law requires for us to do that because when we start pick people up from Old City Cemetery, the coffins are rotten and what else have you, so we said we can do better job by putting a concrete thing there. Okay, it only costs, where are my friends at? My associates. Anyway, I'm going to tell you this. But one of those concrete things costs approximately $400. Okay, all right. This young lady right here, the same thing is concrete. She wants hers silver. So we're going to whip out another $100 on her, $500 now. This lady back here, she wants a gold one. So we're going to whoop her up a little bit more, it's $600 more. It's the same thing, but nonetheless, old people want to be buried a certain way, and they're going to have their say because they're paying for it. And so we ask you to, whatever you want to do, we'll take care of you here at Crown Hill Cemetery.
Is that a little advertisement there?
Huh?
Is that a little advertisement?
Yes, mine is right over there. They're on north of 38th Street. My name's on there and everything. Yes, sir.
These obelisks, how do they stay straight?
The obelisk?
Yeah, the big towers.
Okay, I told you that Indiana was a swamp, and so they put a lot of concrete down there first, and then set that thing on the concrete. Pylon, the engineer know a little better. But anyway, you put some concrete down there, and those the first soldiers came from the Civil War, 1861. 66 here. They put concrete on their things or whatever have you. And so when the other soldiers came in, there's tombstones sunk because it's a swamp here. And as a matter of fact, when they first came here in 1864, we had to call the waiting station and we had to ring a bell. And the people couldn't find Crown Hill because it's too foggy. I ain't kidding you. They'd come up here and couldn't find it, so we rang the bell and let them know where Crown Hill is. We have a lightning hit them and stuff like that. Yeah, but I don't think the earthquake that I know of. We got 2 more stops, people. Skirmish line. Skirmish line. We're almost through. Lucy Ann, no, Mary McGinnis. She was 6 years old. She had consumption. Her family members really loved her. Her father was a general in the Civil War, and they loved her so well they wanted this likeness of her made. The first setting was not right. They didn't like it. They told the guy to take it back, and they picked up a guy from Italy to marble and carved this. Matter of fact, some of the tour guides, when I first became a tour guide here, they told me that her eyes were so detailed that people would argue with one another, said she's looking at me on this side, and people said, no, she's looking at me. Her lace right here, her stockings and what else have you, and the roses that she had here, and the roses are here just as pretty as they can be. I call them Shirley Temple curls. But anyway, she had a whole cloud of hair up here. But like I said, it's made out of marble, and it doesn't, like I said, it's going to deteriorate. We've had a hand broke off already. But nonetheless, so she's the most photographed person here in Crown Hill. The next one is the Eastman Angel. We have, believe it or not, we have angel tours. We got a lot of angels over there, and people love the angels. But anyway, she was 6 years old, and the first one they didn't like, and so the second one is this. And people just take pictures like mad of her. Okay, this is the last one. Kermit's line. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Here's Eddie no, that's not the wrong one. What's his name?
Eddie Black.
Eddie Black, thank you. Eddie Black is the youngest soldier that fought in the Civil War. He first started off by being a drummer boy at 8.5 years old. Believe it or not, the drummer boys beat it out of certain cadence on their drum. They would tell people when to go eat, tell people when to go to potty, and get paid and everything else. Johnny Reb said, hey, I'm going to start shooting them drummer boys down. And Abraham Lincoln didn't like that because he got all these letters and what they said, these boys 8.5 years old being shot down. So he disbanded the drum corps. Eddie Black still wanted to be in the Army. So at 9 years old, he became a soldier. He got put as a prisoner of war in the South, and when the war was over, he came back, and he was about 19 years old when he died. They thought that something he had contacted there in the camps, and believe it or not, you don't want to be a prisoner of war in the Civil War. It was bad, North and South. But anyway, he was that way. Or are they going to tell you something else about him? Okay, he has a drum at the Children's Museum. They have not authenticated this, so I'm not supposed to tell you this, but there's a drum that they said he beat in the Civil War. So whenever you go to the Children's Museum, you might ask somebody, is it up yet for you to see it? He has a twin. The twin died at 2 years old right here. That's the family thing right here. That's a family marker there. Believe it or not, soldiers, you're supposed to be 18 years old or 45 years old to be in the Army, in the Union Army. However, soldiers stand at the recruiting officer, and these young guys would say this, "Sir, I'm standing on 18." They would put a piece of paper in their shoe, and they would say, "I'm standing on 18." They're supposed to be 18. You got it? Well, 15 years old, you're not supposed to be there. But he said, "Sir, I'm standing on 18." Anyway, he made his age go up. But anyway, the Army had all people there and everything. This basically ends our tour. I hope I didn't bore you too much or misspeak too much. But I enjoy what I do. So and, thank you. Anybody got any questions?
How many different tours do you guys have here?
Bring it back.
How many different tours do you have here? Different
Oh,
kinds?
we got, you name it, we got it. We have a tour for trees, and we have 50 trees, and they all got labels, and we got things all around here. Then we got one starts with 51 and go up to 100, and we have a tour for that for an hour and a half. Then we have this is what I told you, a heritage tour. We have a generals tour. Generals, we got 16 generals here. We have poets, and the famous one of them all is the John Dillinger tour, and friends. Something about John Dillinger, he's the most famous person here. If I ask somebody about who's the 23rd president of the United States, they don't know what the devil I'm talking about. But they can tell you about John Dillinger. I mean, you know something about Dillinger, didn't you? You never? Okay, I'm sorry. But then most kids know about John Dillinger. Yes, ma'am.
Where is Anne Frank buried?
Where what?
Where's Anne Frank married?
She's in Denmark. No, it's Denmark, not Denmark. It's Holland. I had an opportunity to go by her house too.